10:25 a.m. Later today, your football team is going to take the field as a collective, formally for the first time. Good morning to you. Tuesday morning, I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of the other two teams in town that I cover, the Penguins and the Pirates. I hope you'll check those out as well. There are 3 OTA sessions this week, today, tomorrow, and Thursday. If you're new to football, OTA stands for Organized Team Activity, and it's voluntary. That point can't be made strenuously or often enough, because if and when big-name veteran players don't show up today, and you see, hear, or read about it, it is not to be a big deal. It's just how it goes. The NFL Players Union isn't all that effective at a lot of things, but they have drawn a hard line between what's voluntary and what's not. They've earned this right in the agreement, and at least as I see it, it should be respected. But you're also going to have a ton of them there, like way more than not. And you're going to see for the first time, again, this is formally an interaction between the veterans on the scene, the rookies, draft picks, the undrafted types, the new external acquisitions, DK Metcalf notably, the players, and this is actually a much bigger part of it than anything I just described, getting to know and deal with in the grass their positional coaches, their coordinators, and how it is that they go about their business, how it is that they expect you to go about yours. In other words, nothing gets done, but a lot gets started. And one of the things that should start in a setting like this is the formation of a team identity. Now, what does that mean? Because it sounds like it would be a narrative concoction that wouldn't mean anything to anybody in-house, but that actually isn't the case. Mike Tomlin isn't going to walk around there and yell out that the Super Bowl is the goal. He doesn't get into that sort of thing until the opening of the real training camp in Latrobe. And I don't just mean with us reporter types, I mean with the actual players. But you can start coming together. You can start recognizing who the leaders are, who are the talkers, who are the listeners. And there can be an understanding, even if it's just peripheral at this stage, of what this team aspires to be. Bearing in mind that unlike those of us on the outside, on the inside, they don't connect seasons. That emanates from Tomlin. He just doesn't believe in it. Every season is its own journey. You've heard him use that term a lot. And every season opens with its own great big press of the reset button. So it's not exactly a clean slate, but it kind of is. And I share all of this with you in advance of this event to raise the following point. I, just talking about me here, have no earthly clue what this team's identity will be. I know what the stated objective will be because that never changes. They're going to talk about Super Bowl. Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. They do that every single year, and they've done it for so long now that it almost just kind of rolls off. It's not even an eyebrow raiser or anything. They just say our objective every year is to win the Super Bowl. That's why we're here. That's what we're doing. But within that, and the players themselves will attest to this, and I mean going back forever, as long as I've been covering this team, there are objectives within the objective. It can morph from let's win it for Jerome to let's win it for Marquise to let's win it for Cam or TJ. And those things, again, stressing this, within the player's world become very real. They don't even have to become known to media or the public. In general, whenever the Steelers have advanced through the playoffs, obviously talking about years past here, those sorts of things don't make it out until fairly deep into the postseason. They'll say something like, oh yeah, way back in Latrobe, we had a meeting on the steps by the dorms and we committed to doing this and this and this for so-and-so. It matters to them. And if you think I'm going to get through this whole segment without bringing up Aaron Rodgers yet again, you would be mistaken. Because what's actually going to happen if and when he ever arrives is that the Steelers, instead of being about the Steelers, will be 100% about Rodgers. You know that. I know that. My guess is that the people running the team know that. Now, they can dismiss that as just another outside factor or more noise that they have to ignore. But on the inside, once again, it's relevant. The number of people in that world, the other 52 players who will ultimately dress for the opener, will not be giving a hoot about winning one for Rodgers. He's already won one, so there really isn't even that as a storyline. They most definitely won't be committed to let's stick it to the Jets in the opener, because the Jets don't matter to anybody. And it just all gets really weird compared to the atmosphere I'm expecting to encounter today and all week long. That, if I'm being just completely candid with you here, is the main issue I've had with this, other than, 42-year-old quarterback and the expected, understandable dip in performance. I just really, 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 really hate the idea of the Steelers being one of those teams that takes the old guy and just kind of grips at the end of the cliff and survives at the position. That is stuff that the Jets do and the Giants do and other loser organizations do. Still hoping it doesn't happen. Nothing to do with the person who I don't know at all. Nothing to do with any of the other stuff that people bring up. I have no idea or couldn't care less if I did know what his politics are. But man, everybody throws that around as if you're supposed to know, or everybody's supposed to know what it is. He's a quarterback. I am invested in this city, this team, a lot of these players. I'd love to see what they could do without a complete realigning of the North Star. When we come back, J1Q. This segment of Daily Shot is brought to you by our good friends at Mike's Beer Bar. They're located on Federal Street, directly across from PNC Park. Mike has more than 500 beers on tap, including from more than 50 local breweries. Stop in and say hello. Tell Mike we sent you. Mike's Beer Bar. Today's J1Q comes from Rico, who says, DK, knowing that the Steelers still have plenty of cap space and still do not have a quarterback, do you think that there's some internal regret at not paying a few extra dollars to lock up Justin Fields for a couple of years? They could be in this same situation next year. The draft is never a sure thing. They could have had competent quarterback play locked up until their next move, and of course, Fields still has plenty of upside to grow. There's a couple of ways to answer this, I think, Rico, and the way I'm going to start is by being literal here with you. I have not picked up the faintest trace of regret from the Steelers, and I can usually sense that sort of thing. They legitimately wanted to keep him. They had legitimately started thinking of him as their QB1 for next year, including in the schematic sense. But it also could not be clearer right now that they had a price that they were not willing to go over. And if you want to throw something extra into that, you'll recall that Fields himself acknowledged that one of the things that had him choose the Jets was that they told him, you're our guy. You're our QB1. You're the one we're standing behind. You're the one we're going to build the offense around. The Steelers, as I think you're kind of pointing out here, weren't really going to do that because Omar Khan has himself a plan where he's going to amass assets and hope that they align into the next franchise quarterback in Pittsburgh. Now, if along the way that turns out to be Will Howard, if it turns out to be Mason Rudolph, That's fine, but it has not prevented Khan, obviously, from accumulating enough capital, whether that's in the cap sense or in the extra draft pick sense, that he can make a very, very aggressive move in the next draft to go up and get one of these quarterbacks that they would like in what's expected to be a much richer class at that position. So it's a strange situation. It's a strange scenario the way it unfolded, because you could also sense, and this was very real, that they were taken aback by it. They just didn't expect Fields to go somewhere else. They thought they had this all figured out. Do you see the difference? Where they weren't going to necessarily overpay to keep Fields. They thought they had it. So it wasn't until Fields was signed, and I know this for a fact, that they made a serious overture to Rudolph and got that done in a raging hurry, because they were about to be left with no quarterbacks. But again, did they regret not paying more? No, I've never gotten that sense from them. Did they regret not making some sort of hard commitment to Fields that he was absolutely positively going to be the starter? No way, no how, because that wasn't going to happen. They like him, they were ready to run with him, but they weren't ready to declare him anything. I appreciate the question, really good one. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Steelers. Real, live, almost actual football, in parentheses, in shorts, end parentheses, begins today. And for an immediate sense for how that goes, make sure you check out our double shot of Steelers at 4 p.m. Eastern today. That's live. It's on YouTube, and of course, it's on the DK Pittsburgh Sports app and website.